Viewers, a day after the political boss of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, was assassinated during a visit to Iran, the military commander of Hamas, Mohammed Deif, has been killed in an airstrike in Gaza. Deif was targeted in the strike on a compound in the Khan Yusuf area of Gaza on the 13th of July. Hamas is yet to confirm his death, but what we are being told, viewers, is that Israel, while it did not directly confirm the death of Haniyeh, has, however, in the case of Deif, come out and confirmed that Deif was killed in an Israeli airstrike. Now, viewers, as we know, Deif was one of the figures responsible for planning the 7th October strike on Israel, especially southern Israel, in which 1,200 people were killed and 251 taken hostage. Now, viewers, let's quickly give you a sense of who these individuals are. On the first, of course, is Haniyeh. He is the political chief of Hamas. He was killed in Tehran. And then, of course, you have Deif, who is the number two, the purported number two of the organization. And he apparently has also been knocked out. So, big news coming. And while this particular assassination took place on the 13th of July, it isn't, some people believe, a coincidence that the declaration of Deif's death has been made a day after Haniyeh's death. Now, of course, there is only the third top player, Sinwar, who needs to be eliminated, and many people say that after that, Netanyahu could well and truly come out and say that Israel has won the war and the time for hostilities is over. Deif was on the US list of international terrorists since 2015. So, viewers, he's good riddance. Both Haniyeh and Deif are good riddance. Listen in to what the Israeli defense minister had to say. Okay, he basically said, and let me quote him, viewers, that the Osama bin Laden of Gaza was eliminated on July 13th. This is a significant milestone in the process of dismantling Hamas as a military and governing authority in Gaza. This operation reflects the fact that Hamas is disintegrating and that Hamas terrorists may either surrender or they will be eliminated. Israel's defense establishment will pursue Hamas terrorists, both the planners and the perpetrators of the October 7th massacre. We will not rest until this mission is accomplished, unquote. Now, absurdly, instead of welcoming the news of the killings, many West Asian countries and some so-called rights activists here in India also have expressed outrage as Israel. Iran, for instance, is threatening war and Pakistan has demanded action against Israel. Shockingly, Palestinian President Abbas has declared a day of mourning to mark the assassination of Hamas leader Ismail Haniyeh. This proves that Palestine, that some Indians cry buckets over, is mostly anti-Semitic and an enabler of Islamist exclusivism. After all, how can Haniyeh be a hero for any country, especially when Haniyeh has proclaimed that he was committed to, number one, denying Jewish state Israel's right to exist. Basically, he was genocidal. Number two, backing armed struggle against Israel, which has led to conflicts and violence. Basically, he was an Islamist hate monger, supremacist. Three, the use of anti-Semitic language. Basically, he was a bigot. Persecution to death of religious minorities belonging to Shia community, political opponents, LGBTQI activists, and feminists. Basically, he was a sociopath. And now let's also examine the other thug, Mohammed Deif's record. The military commander has called for a military solution to eliminate Jews. Deif has praised terror attacks on Jews, who he has referred to as, quote, the descendants of apes and pigs, unquote. Deif has also blamed Jews for the, quote, corruption of humanity, unquote. Obviously, this bigot has been reading Hitler's Mein Kampf. Viewers, let's open this up. Let's have a conversation. Israel has avenged the October 7 attacks to quite an extent. So why is there outrage against Israel? They're only doing things to protect their own population from genocidal thugs. Nilofer Masood, leader of the National Conference, is here with us. I'm sure you're celebrating that Israel has been able to eliminate these threats to humanity, these listed terrorists, globally listed terrorists. Ms. Masood. I can't hear you. I think you might be on mute. Yeah, thank you. Thanks, ma'am. Yes.
Well, Rahul, we need to be very clear about the policy which our country has adopted. What is the role, what is the actual policy which our country has adopted vis-a-vis the Palestine? If we are supporting them on one platform, we cannot say that what Gaza has, what Israel is doing today, we need to endorse that. Rightly said by you that if any country is against any militancy or terrorism, India has been standing with those countries, and we as a country today believe that any country which is against, which is taking any step against the terrorism, India is supporting them. But we need to clarify our policies at international level. When we support Palestine, we have to be very clear. Actually, whom are we supporting? Are we supporting the Israel? Are we supporting the Palestine? Because there have been, in recent past, there have been some affairs against the people who have hosted the flag of the Palestine also. So we have to be very clear.
No, I'm confused, very confused by your response, Ms. Masood. I want to ask you a specific question. Now, you said that we should never support anyone that supports terrorists. And I think that's a fair proposition, isn't it? So how should we support Palestine, where its president is marking the death of Haniyeh, who's an anti-Semite, who says that all Jews should be killed?
It is neither you, it is neither me who can decide actually the international policies.
No, I'm asking you, what is your position? What is your position? Do you sympathize with...
We cannot raise any question on the policies which have already been adopted by our country.
No. I'm asking you a simple question, Ms. Masood. I'm asking you a simple question.
Our country has to be very clear and specific on the point whether we support Palestine or not.
We have been very clear, but there are political leaders in our country...
No, hang on, Ms. Masood,
let me remind you...
who have hosted the flag of Palestine.
No.
Why is there dual policy? Why are there affairs against the people who have hosted flags of the Palestine?
Well, it's obvious, isn't it? It's obvious because today Palestine has thrown in its lot with people like Haniyeh, who are sworn to actually, hang on, listen to me, who are sworn to liberate Kashmir from India. Are you in favor of that policy of Mr. Haniyeh and the Palestinian government?
How you are getting those connections? How you are getting those connections?
No, I'm not getting those connections. Those are standard. No, hang on. No, madam. No. Hang on. Your bleeding hearts are actually today for a large number of Kashmiri youth, you're saying, who have been arrested for flying the Palestine flag. Do you know Palestine? No, hang on. Ma'am, please, let me finish. Because you see, you asked me, how are you getting all these facts? So now I'm telling you these facts. And the facts are that the leadership in Palestine has supported the right to self-determination of Kashmir. How, as an Indian who swears by the Indian Constitution, can you and I support a government or an authority or a people that are looking to break our country? I'm asking you. So what else should the government do?
Tell me, Rahul, only one thing. What is the stand which our country has taken?
Yes.
Whether it is in favor of Palestine or against?
No, we are not against anybody, and we are not in favor of anybody either. We have actually taken very neutral positions. Okay, let me open this up.
The success of the Israel. How can you celebrate that?
Okay, let me.
You have to be very clear. You cannot stand on the two boats.
Why shouldn't you? These are international global terrorists.
Stand on the two boats. First, you need to clarify your policy.
We have clarified our policy.
I'm not talking about the affairs which have been lodged
against the government of India. The government of India has condemned.
The rest of the people.
Why shouldn't they be? Why should you be hoisting the flags of Palestinians who are coming out there and saying very clearly that they are for the right to self-determination? Anyhow, let me just open this up. Let me let me bring in some other voices. Here we are umbraging at this fact. Sushant
Well,
Sareen,
Rahul, let me
yes,
clarify. Flags were
madam,
not hosted by the people of Jammu and Kashmir, but in the rest of the India, in the recent
yeah, so we
Muharram
need to
Jalsas which
take
had taken
action
place.
against those people who
Yes.
have misplaced
Now, why
sympathies, who are
should action
raising
be
the
taken?
Hamas
Because
flag.
once the government is
Okay,
supporting
one minute.
Palestine,
Let me
if
bring in.
somebody hosts a flag
Okay.
in their
No.
favor,
There's a
why should
difference.
FIR be
There is
launched
a
against that
difference between
person?
supporting Hamas, inviting Hamas leaders to give lectures to Indian
First, we
youth.
need to clarify our
No, one second.
stand.
No, why? We are very clear. We don't stand
Yes.
with Hamas. We stand with the poor innocents of Palestine,
No,
but
we
not
want
with
to stand
Hamas.
for
No, one
Palestine,
second. Let
and
me bring
in
in.
that second, we say that
Madam,
we are celebrating
okay,
Israel's success.
let the others speak also. Let's get a view. You've asked some questions. Let me get a view. Sushant Sareen, we need to make a very, very clear distinction between the Hamas and the Palestinians. In fact, I'm sorry, I blurred the lines because, let me be very honest with you, Palestinians who voted and elected and allowed themselves to be ruled by the Hamas and in informal elections, in surveys, etc., continue to support the Hamas with 50-50% mandates. Even in the other territory, which is the West Bank, I'm sorry, I lump them all together, but you can differ with me. Why should we be bleeding hearts for these craven individuals?
Well, we shouldn't be, and frankly speaking, I would agree with you that yes, we should make a distinction between the Palestinians and Hamas and the other terrorist groups in that region. But it's not only us who should make that distinction, the Palestinians themselves should make that distinction. And clearly, when they don't make that distinction, then it creates a problem. Now, the lady keeps asking, what is our policy? What is our stand? Our stand is very clear. India is in favor of a two-state solution. That is the official position. We are in favor of a two-state solution. We believe that a two-state solution should come by, in a negotiated manner. We are against terrorism, and I think the government of India has come out very, very clearly against what happened on October 7th and the kind of massacres that were carried out. We have also counseled restraint on Israel, but then, we have limited kind of capital on that count. So there is something we can say, and beyond that, we can't go. Our voting record in the United Nations itself dictates what our policy has been. And in our own way, we are very clear about what our policy is. Now, the problem, however, is that there is a Muslim street around the world, including in India. For example, we have two people sitting on your panel. Please ask them, do they consider Burhan Wani a terrorist or not? And you'll get a wishy-washy answer. You will not get a clear answer. That's the same kind of an approach which somebody like Abu Mazen or Mahmoud Abbas uses in the West Bank, because he's afraid of the Muslim street. He does not have the political courage or the political capital or the political intellect to come out openly and stand against terrorism. So he'll hunt with the hound and he'll run with the hare. That is what the problem is.
So let me ask that question. I think it's a very good question, and General Bakshi is also there. Ahmed Ayaz, let me ask you, in 2019, Palestine's UN ambassador Riyad Mansour expressed support for Pakistan's position on Kashmir. We know that. In 2020, President Mahmoud Abbas reiterated Palestine's support for Pakistan's stance on Kashmir during a meeting with Pakistan's Prime Minister Imran Khan. Has the time come, Mr. Ahmed Ayaz, to renounce, and denounce diplomatically Palestine?
You see, this is true, Rahul, and it is being proved by you can see that whenever any conflict arises or it exists somewhere, as we are talking about Palestine and Israel, or there's conflict between Russia and then Ukraine, and then there are problems with Jammu and Kashmir also, then there is a nationalism also. You see, point is, when all these things happen, a conflict takes place, it exists somewhere. The world over problem is that the world does not take one side.
Mr. Ayaz, I'm asking you a simple question. I'm putting you, forget the other people. I'm asking, what does Ahmed Ayaz believe? Are you with Iran today? Are you with Palestine today? Or are you with Israel today? Simple question.
We are with anyone who has any excessive cause against one, any जैसे हम कह रहे हैं कि किसी के साथ जुल्म हो रहा है, we are with that. Whoever it is. It is not Iran, it is not the Palestinian, it can be anybody.
Oh,
Wherever,
I'm asking you a specific question. Are you with, sir, Iran and Palestine, that little nexus, or are you with Israel?
Yes, to me, let me take a stand. Yes. Let me take a stand. To me, there is a problem on behalf of the Israel, on Palestinian, they kill people. Yes, I stand. I say that they need to be had. If you mean me to take a clear stand.
So you're saying that the Palestinians are bad people, that they are terrorists?
No, I don't say. I say they are, you know, there are excessive calls on them. They have their own issues. It is not that they are simply in a conflict or they are fighting against Israel. They have a reason. They have an issue.
They have an issue.
A root cause needs to be addressed.
They have an issue. They have a root cause, which is the elimination of Israel. That's the root cause. Now, see, viewers, Palestine under the Hamas, at least the Gaza Strip under the Hamas, and perhaps even now, I don't know, under the Palestine Authority, who is thrown in their lot with Haniyehs of the world, etc., viewers, view this not as a two-state solution at all. They view it as a either them or us situation. General Bakshi, I don't know why there are so many Indians who can't take a firm stand against Palestine when A, it votes against us on Kashmir. Number two, when its own leaders espouse the kind of views that I have just read out to the world, and you yourself, where do you stand on this, General Saab?
Look, Rahul, some of these people speak because of their domestic political compulsions, their desires to cultivate vote banks among specific religious minorities, and that colors their entire outlook to what is straightforward right and wrong. On the 7th of October, we had a heinous terrorist attack on an unprecedented scale, which killed 1,200 Israeli women, children, old, infirm, indiscriminate slaughter. And you saw the way women were being dragged out, women were being raped, and there were people who were gloating. 250 terrorists were taken, out of which half are still being in the captivity of Hamas. So what do you expect Israel to do? Israel has to hit back. Israel has no other option but to hit back, and they have hit back hard. Unlike us, they have not espoused Gandhian,
restraint and so on and so forth. Yes, exactly.
They have hit their enemies and hit them hard.
Yeah. Yes. So let me ask Ms. Masood to respond to General Bakshi. Why do Palestinians deserve 100% backing and Israel deserves 0% backing when Palestinians never even condemned, as a whole people never condemned what happened on October 7. I never saw anyone in the Gaza Strip lighting a candle for any of the 1,200 Israelis that were butchered.
I'll just put a straight question to you, Rahul. Just tell me, Hamas is supported by which country?
It is supported by a large number of Muslim countries.
It is supported by the Iran. It is supported by the Iran. And what are our relations with the Iran?
Okay. So you're saying at a personal level.
Hang on.
One minute. Israel is also supported. No, hang on. Israel is
against the Hamas. You need to be against those countries also.
Miss Masood, Israel is also supported by America, isn't it?
Against the brutal killings, you're saying that. I also support humanity. I'm not here to support anybody.
No, so I'm asking you. So then I'm asking you then, would you ever raise a flag for Israel? It's a simple question, since you support humanity. Will you?
I don't think we need to raise, especially me, need to raise a flag in favor of this Israel, because of the reason they have been involved in the mass genocide. They have been involved in the killing of the Yes, mass genocide and
There
the
you
killing
go.
of the children.
Viewers,
Have you seen the
I've
bodies of the
exposed
children which
this.
are being carried by the coffins which are
Okay.
being carried by the parents?
Yeah, that's
Have
why
you
I'm
seen
asking
those?
you. On October 7th,
Do
do
we
you
need to
think
celebrate
on
their
October
killing?
7th,
Do we not need to
excuse
celebrate
me,
their
madam,
killing?
I'm asking you, Miss Masood, on October 7th, what happened to Israel? Do you
There have
support
been so
Israel?
many October 7 in the
Okay, there have
Palestine
been.
itself.
So two wrongs
Yes,
make a
there have
right.
been so many.
Okay. So
Nobody is
viewers,
raising question on the
here we have it.
Israel. We need
Here
to
we
raise
have
question
it.
on that.
Here we have the response. This is the response I was looking for, and I think Sushant Sareen is absolutely right. I think Sushant Sareen, you have your answer, don't you?
No, I didn't need an answer because I knew where the lady was coming from. And there is this typical
So what do
obfuscation
you mean
of
when me coming from?
things by
Where do
saying
I
that,
come
look,
from? Where do I
it
come from?
supports Hamas,
I do come from the part
India
of the
supports
India. You need to realize that. I don't live in Israel, neither
Rahul,
No,
in
no,
Palestine.
he's meaning it rhetorically, ma'am. The point of view that you come from. He's not talking about your geography, he's talking about the point of view that you come from. He's saying that you have an sympathy for Islamists who have
Humanity.
declared a war on
Who are
humanity
being
at
brutally
large.
killed.
Okay.
Who are being
Sushant
targeted,
Sareen, you were saying
innocently
something.
targeted.
Rahul, how can I speak?
Yeah.
When lady keeps interrupting me,
Yes.
it's
No,
not
go ahead,
possible.
please. Go ahead.
So I think there is this typical obfuscation which happens that Iran supports Hamas, India supports Iran, so that means India must be supporting Hamas. This I don't know how this logic operates. It doesn't, right? The other thing is that if people had come out openly and publicly and said that, look, what happened on October 7th, it deserves the strongest condemnation possible, and that yes, those people need to be brought to justice, come hell or high water. Then I would understand where people would say that, look, maybe Israel is using some excessive force, maybe they need to show some restraint. Now that can be a point of view. I don't necessarily agree with that, but that can be a point of view I
Okay.
can appreciate. Then there is this entire factor that when a terrorist leader is killed, there are people who issue statements, celebrating his life or condemning his killing. That also betrays a certain sentiment. You
Yes.
see, point is that if the guy was a decent bloke, then yes, of course, by all means, you should commiserate his death. But the moment you start commiserating his death of a terrorist, then I think I have a serious problem.
I mean, he has reduced Jews, he has dehumanized them. He says
Yeah.
they're pigs. I mean, can
Exactly.
you believe it, viewers?
Exactly.
And we have people who are raising,
No.
the Palestine flag here. I just
Rahul,
don't
the
get it.
irony is
Yeah.
that the Jews actually preceded the Muslims in that entire area, right?
Yes.
So if they are the progeny of pigs and whatever, then so are the Muslims of that area.
Well, I mean, I'll just say something. I'm not getting into this. I'm not
Logic.
getting into this sort of, debate. But the point is, viewers, we have to rise above the gutter. And if people who live in the gutter and behave like individuals in the gutter do, and when they get a comeuppance, then we should be very clear morally where we stand on that. I leave it at this, viewers.